Most of you aren't subscribed. Make sure to subscribe, as it helps out the channel. Without further ado, cutting to Queen Giselet. She sits upon her throne menacingly sipping on wine, pissed to hear reports of a mysterious masked man, by the name of the Black Knight, thwarting her attempts at slaying Char. Disappointed at her servants, Giselet dumps a glass of wine on her servants, thinking that Char is the only person that will surpass herself in the future. Retrieving the holy sword she had used to slay the Demon King, Giselet wonders if she herself should hunt down this Black Knight, but everyone suddenly hears a voice. As Giselet's slaves ready their blades to protect Giselet, mysterious barriers suddenly knock them out, prompting Haruto as the Black Knight to reveal himself. Demanding to know how Haruto had made his way to her location, Haruto laughs at the Queen's barrier magic, meant to keep out intruders. Happy that she doesn't have to search for the Black Knight, Giselet swiftly casts a water spell, surrounding Haruto in a sphere of water. As Haruto begins to drown, the Queen gets joyful at Haruto's pain, but spots Haruto projecting himself out of her water sphere, with his barrier magic. Whilst in midair, Haruto is forced to erect a barrier to stop incoming ice magic from Giselet, but is forced to tank a fire spell Giselet had simultaneously casted. Falling to his knees, Haruto is surprised that Giselet not only is a master swordsman, but also has water, ice and fire elemental affinity. Smirking at Haruto's jealousy, Giselet realizes that Haruto is not injured whatsoever, wondering how capable the Black Knight is. Seeing Haruto raise his hand, Giselet is suddenly stunned to see a beam of light fly towards her, barely able to block it, shocked that she didn't sense any incantation from Haruto. Hearing Haruto state that he's now going to take the fight seriously, Giselet instinctively casts her barrier magic, managing to block hundreds of projectiles from Haruto. Seeing Haruto unfazed with casting so many projectiles, she states that Haruto has a far greater mana pool than the Demon King she fought. Knowing that keeping her barrier up takes up huge amounts of mana, Giselet temporarily drops her barriers, rushing in with her holy sword, but Haruto had anticipated this, thwarting her attempts. As they both exchange blows, Giselet leaps onto Haruto, mounting him and declaring that she has personally made sure that she's the strongest in the world. Having now gauged Giselet's maximum potential, Haruto slashes and disarms Giselet, administering his punishment, a collar for the once Flash Queen. Attempting to rip off the collar, Giselet is warned to not, as the collar will decapitate her if she tries to remove it. Giving Giselet a warning, Haruto states that she is not to come near the Zenfis family or else he'll make sure that he doesn't spare Giselet next time. As Haruto takes his leave, Giselet realizes that she's now under the service of another being, laughing maniacally alone, as she realizes she's no longer the strongest. Meeting up with Flay congratulates Haruto's victory over the Flash Queen Giselet, ensuring Char and his family's safety for the time being. Moving 5 years forward in time, whilst watching Flay and Char play in the snow, Haruto narrates how it's been a peaceful 5 years, with no sighting of the Queen Giselet scheming against his family. Wishing he had stayed in his room, Haruto watches as Flay constructs a massive snow castle, wondering if Flay is cold in her maid outfit. Proudly whilst shivering, Flay states that since this was the first outfit Haruto had gifted her, she will gladly wear it forever. Ignoring Flay, Haruto crafts some warm clothes for Flay, telling Flay that they should maintain a healthy relationship and to state any discomforts she has with him. Suddenly coming up with an idea, Char states that she had been thinking of a special attack Haruto can use whilst in the snow. Reluctantly listening to Char's suggestion, Haruto walks a couple steps away from Char and Flay, embarrassingly announcing a new spell incantation. Haruto conjures a mini tornado in his palm. Firing the tornado into the snow, Haruto impresses Flay and Char, as he has torn a massive crater into the ground. Jumping into Haruto's arms, Char is so happy to have an amazing brother, which Haruto notes embarrassing himself to please Char isn't so bad. Just then, Haruto's parents arrive, wondering who could have created the massive crater, but Haruto creates a Black Knight clone blaming the clone, and managing to hide his power from his parents. As Flay, Char and Haruto's mother begin building snow sculptures, Haruto has a chat with his father, learning that his father hasn't heard anything regarding Queen Giselet's schemes. Plus there are rumors that Queen Giselet has been enslaved, as she has been seen with a slave collar around her neck. As his father thinks about who would have enslaved the almighty Flash Queen Giselet, Haruto quietly sneaks off, as his job of keeping Char safe is basically complete. But before he can leave, his father states that Haruto will be joining the Royal Capital School these coming weeks, apologizing to Haruto as there are complicated factors that Haruto's father couldn't refuse. Wallowing in despair, Haruto deems to resolve these complicated factors, if it means he'll finally get to live the shut-in life he had always wanted. Back in Haruto's father's office, Haruto attempts to talk his way out of enrolling, but Haruto's father reveals a personal invitation letter from the king, suggesting Haruto to enroll. Haruto's father speculates that King Jilk was influenced by his daughter, Princess Marianne, who has taken a liking to Haruto. On top of that, Prince Laius will be skipping grades to join Haruto in the same grade, meaning that Haruto will inevitably be forced to spend time with Laius. Haruto's father warns Haruto to be careful, since he suspects that Queen Giselit might be using Princess Marianne to enact her schemes from the shadows, asking Haruto to investigate this. Thinking about how much his father has done for him, Haruto agrees to attend the school, if it means that he'll make his father proud. Before Haruto leaves, he is reminded to take an attendant with him, to help with living on campus. Knowing that he shouldn't bring Flay, Haruto is stumped, having no other attendants to choose from. Hearing her son considering attendants, Haruto's mother suggests herself, having eavesdropped on their conversation, but Haruto is forced to reject his mother's offer. Returning to his room, Haruto chats with his robot clones, scheming ways to get expelled. Since his robot clone can't use magic, Haruto suggests his clone replaces him at the school, and intentionally gets expelled. But Haruto notes that he has to get expelled all whilst preserving his family name. Coming up with an idea, Haruto suggests his clone start a fight with other students, but his clone begins to protest, stating that he can't do anything against magical students. As a compromise, Haruto promises to permanently cast a magic barrier around his clone to protect him, whilst he impersonates him at school. Several days have passed, and Haruto is spending time in a log hut that he had secretly built, having intended to spend an isolated life here when all his duties have been completed. Just then, Flay and Char arrive, donning her magic girl outfit from the anime she's been watching. Char states that she was told off for clinging and spending too much time with Haruto, but Haruto suggests that he can sneak her in and out of his room with teleportation magic. Trying it with objects first, Flay and Char are amazed as Haruto is able to create 2 portals to simulate teleportation, but Haruto states that he has never tried with living objects before. With Flay suggesting using Haruto's clone, Haruto creates a portal to his clone who is chilling in his room, ordering his clone to try out the portal. When his clone refuses, Flay gets pissed for refusing her master, personally hopping through the portal and tossing the clone through the portal. With that, Haruto confirms that he can now teleport at living or non-living object, but he still needs to find an attendant. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like and comment.